America, planet Earth, what's good? This is your boy Codell, and this is Kyle. Kyle, what's up, brother?
What's up?
Welcome back to another episode of the Father's Gospel podcast. Hey, I'm pretty pumped today. I mean, been coming across all sorts of crazy information, but today we are going to be talking about a quitam slash lawsuit. I like to throw lawsuit in there because everyone knows what that word means. And we're going to be breaking down what a quitam is. And we're also going to be presenting some instructions we have for those of you that would maybe like to join us in this quitam lawsuit that we are forming to go against the family courts here in the state of Washington. So buckle up, folks, because we got a good one today, and this is a very important episode. So you ready, Kyle?
I am.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so let's get into this. All right. So, you guys, what is a quitam? Kyle, since you're the law expert in the group, I think you should break it down for the people. Go ahead. Let them know what's up.
Okay. So quitam is just a lawsuit. It's Latin. That's where they get a lot of stuff in the law, Magna Carta, all that stuff in the way back in the 1200s. Latin, that's a lot of the law is derived from there, and the terminology is derived from Latin.
Okay.
So quitam, is just a lawsuit. It's a federal lawsuit. States don't normally deal with this. Other entities don't deal with this. It's a federal lawsuit.
So it's Latin for lawsuit.
Yeah. Well, right there, blow the whistle. Quitam is I don't know what exactly the Latin
Word.
term is.
Yeah.
Habeas corpus means produce the body.
Okay.
Quitam, I have no idea what it is other than that's what quitam is for. It's just the Latin thing for a lawsuit. But in a sense right here, it's what does it say? Philosophy of law in the U.S. that allows individuals who blow the whistle on fraud against the government to receive all or part of the financial recovery received by the government. Quitam refers to a civil lawsuit brought by a private individual. And see, that's the key word right there, private individual. It's just like a RICO lawsuit, racketeering, influence, corrupt organizations.
Okay.
People have this misguided idea that you can't individually do a RICO lawsuit. You can. All you have to do is find, under the 38 offenses, two or three? I think it's only the standards of bringing a RICO lawsuit.
So
like
give
either
us like
2 or 3 things of the 38 things that are in there.
So give us like 2 or 3 examples of what those 33 things might be like.
Yeah, it's like 38, I think 38 offenses. So like threatening violence, you know what I mean?
Okay.
In a RICO lawsuit, threatening violence, a financial gain through, fraudulent behavior,
Okay.
which would be child support. You know
Okay.
what I mean?
Yeah.
Making trying to hide money, things like
Right.
that, things of that nature. Those are, if you think about what mafia does or what the Wall Street does too, even as a matter of fact, is
Organized crime type stuff. When people think of crime, like organized crime.
Yeah, organized crime is not just the mafia. Organized crime is by any entity.
Well, I mean, the mafia compared to like government, they're amateurs in organized crime.
When you think when everybody that's the thing. That's why it's so key for definitions. You know what I mean? You say organized crime, what do people always think of?
The
They
mafia,
think of, the mafia,
or the cartels or
Yeah,
whatever.
cartels.
Yeah.
No, it's not. It's done, perpetrated by the federal government too, just as well. You just have to prove it. It's not what you know, it's what you can prove. And so that's the same thing. So people have to realize that, in a quitam lawsuit, a private, like it just says, a private individual, however, their safety in numbers. So you have the same thing. So you can bring up multiple things. And that's what we're going to go into on the next slide.
Yeah.
And the next thing, or explain to our viewers and some of the other fathers. And not just fathers, maybe there's a couple women in there that want to join our lawsuit.
Yeah.
But what it does is just safety in numbers for that thing.
Okay.
Instead of 10 people doing it, individually, then you could just get one and then just combine all your resources for that.
Right. Right.
So, but anyway, private individual, the whistleblower against the company or individual who is believed to have engaged in a criminal act involving fraud in performance of its contract or otherwise defrauded the government. And that's a good one right there, on behalf of the government. So you're doing it on behalf of the government. So when
Okay.
you file this thing, because the government can't look at every single thing.
Right.
But when you bring it to the government's attention, the federal government's attention, they can partake, and they say, you know what? It's just like in the Marine Corps. If I came up with an idea,
Yeah.
like I think, what is it, 2 years or 2 years or something after that, the you sign a contract that says, like, if you come up with something that would make some kind of invention, that the Marine Corps has dibs to that thing.
Oh,
They
okay.
actually have dibs to whatever
Okay.
you brought up that would make.
Okay. Yeah. I'm
So
not surprised. Yeah.
so that's the federal government here in this thing too. If they think that it's something that they want to be joined to,
Right.
then what they'll do is they'll start taking over the case.
Okay.
But you
Okay.
have all these things and you have all these witnesses and things like that. They'll take it over and do
Okay.
it. So a lot of times what they think is some people will think, oh, well, they're not going to join in this case.
Yeah.
Well, the reason why they don't do that is because it's probably sometimes it's not in their best interest, because they, then they're going to get caught
Okay.
and they would have to admit something.
Right. Yeah.
But that doesn't mean, oh, well, the government, I'm suing on behalf of the government, but the government doesn't want to pick it up. That doesn't mean that you're done, that it's over, and that you're not going to get what you want. It just means they're gonna, it's gonna be harder for you to move forward without the resources or backing of the federal government.
Okay.
Because there's,
Yeah.
what's success? Getting up one more time and you get knocked down.
Right.
So that's the thing. So, but
Yeah.
the
That for
definition,
sure.
yeah. So
Yeah.
the definition of a quitam on the screen is, and nobody's, you know, if you can't find it and you want to really broken down how these things, then my suggestion is you go to the research and you do that. Black's Law Dictionary, Robert's Rules of Order, these things, so then you can just gather all that research and say, okay, this is,
This is
you
what I
could read,
need.
yeah, you could read one definition of it in Britannica or Webster's dictionary, you don't get it, or it's like doesn't fit your thing, and then you go to Black's Law Dictionary, which is a law dictionary, and then you say, oh, okay, I understand this.
Yeah, I got you.
So the definition of it is, a legal principle that allows an individual who is not affiliated with the government to file a lawsuit against a federal contractor for defrauding the government and to collect all or part of the financial recovery. So
Yeah.
that's the key thing right there too, in a qui tam lawsuit. So if we had 10 fathers, right? Let's say
Right.
we just had 10 fathers. Of those 10 fathers, we would get, financial recovery, which that's what we would want to get, because
Right.
of all the finances that we put up for this custody stuff
It's a lot. Yeah.
is a lot. So, let's just say, let's take a random number. Let's say we did $30 million, right?
Okay. Yeah.
And so we cut it up, we chop it up, split it 10 different ways on what this is. Not because, oh, your case is worse, you were the last one in on the case. No, we agree to it as, like partners in that sense. Okay.
So
Hey,
you go in with an agreement already set up on
yeah,
how
sometimes, but
distributed.
you get it. Let's just say it's $30 million, right?
Okay.
And how you chop it up, regardless of how it's chopped up,
Yeah.
those 10 individuals that came in on it get the lion's share of that money. So it might be $20 million split between in 10 ways, and that other 10 million is for fathers that
Came in later.
Yeah,
Or whatever.
that were under this lawsuit,
Yeah.
were harmed by it. So then they say, oh, okay, well, can I get this funding? Well, at that point in time, then usually there's somebody like what do you call it, a person that is set up to disperse that money out, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So maybe this person came in and they only had it for 2 months, and they say, well, I've incurred these costs as a result. They say, oh, okay, well, what's your attorney thing? Maybe the damage is 20 grand.
Yeah.
Okay, here's your 20 grand, then you're done. You
Yeah.
know, your part.
So your
Then
legal bills
yeah.
paid. So let me ask you this, and I mean, it makes sense, but how do you decide exactly how the money's going to be dispersed?
Well, in this specific scenario, let's say that there's the 10 and you go for 30 and then you
Okay.
chop up 20 million between the 10 of you, right?
Right.
Then it's depends on the 10 of you that did this. Well, in that sense, I would probably just go 2 million
Okay.
per father.
Yeah.
Here's 2 million, here's 2 million, here's 2 million.
Right.
You're compensated. You're done. Whatever you do with that 2 million, it's off.
But
And that's scot free. That's tax free. That's tax free money. You
Yeah.
don't have to claim that. You don't have to. They know you want it,
Yeah.
but for tax purposes, it's all. Anytime you do a lawsuit, it's tax free. The time that you start having to worry about paying on those taxes is if like you put it in a savings account.
Right.
Then you're
No,
responsible for paying for that.
what I'm asking though is how would you determine which fathers would get those $2 million?
I would just say all 10 of them. Each one of them
Okay,
gets
so
10 million. It doesn't matter if my case, in a sense where my case is different from yours.
Yeah.
Is it more egregious? I mean, I think so.
Yeah.
Probably other people would think so, but that doesn't mean that you get less than what I get.
Right.
We had a friend, there's other fathers there
Yeah.
that maybe have 50-50 custody, right?
Yeah.
But yet they are still having to deal with protection orders and all this other shit.
Endless court cases,
Right.
costs of
Right.
court. Yeah.
But
yeah.
you're not, I guess what it is, if they had the balls enough, those 10 fathers came up, then, you're going to give them an equal disbursement.
Okay. So would it be the first 10 fathers is what I'm saying? Or like that? Yeah. So
No, it's not the first 10 fathers.
Okay.
It's if those 10 fathers stepped up and said, yeah, we're going to use this stuff, and they're going to use personal information, their court information that happened to them in court previously.
Okay, gotcha.
Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if it's been happening to a father for 16 years or a father that's been for 16 minutes.
Yeah.
It's
yeah.
whoever's going as the balls to sit there and say, hey, I want to join this case and I want to be in on this case.
Right.
What do they do? And whether they do 16 hours of work with us or 1,600 hours of work with us.
So it's based more on contribution, like
no, it's not a contribution at all. It's just you stepped up, you signed
that's
your
what
name.
I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
Okay, well,
Yeah.
contribution. What I'm thinking is like you're adding to the case.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Yeah.
Well, no, it's just you're there. If you're one of the 10 that's in there,
Yeah.
that are specifically named,
Yeah.
then you should get it.
Oh, okay. Now I got it.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Okay, cool. All right, well, let's move on. So we got the instruction, you guys. We're putting together a quitam / lawsuit. And yeah, this is what we got. So it's 4 basic steps, you guys. 1, we do not need you to provide your entire case or story.
Yeah, and this is not and the disclaimer is this is not how legally the quitam is supposed to go. This is what we want just from those 4 simple things. So because we know that each father has a horrible story.
Right.
Cody's, I couldn't see my kids because I didn't get a vaccine, which is complete bullshit. But that's
many other
to you,
things.
right? And it might be to another father, but there's certain things with each different case. But we don't want to explore your whole story because then it's gonna jam up our stuff. Okay, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
Just tell us what they screwed you over on.
And it's not because we don't want it, and it's
not because we don't care.
Yeah, it's just we got to keep things organized, like compartmentalized, just easy to get going. So anyways, step 2, we only need you to submit evidence that demonstrates that your constitutional rights and those of your child or children have been violated. So basically real simple and direct, right?
Yeah, right. For example, I lost my Second Amendment rights because of a protection order, and it's unfounded. There's no evidence for that. She just threw shit to see if it'll stick on the wall.
Right.
And the court said, yeah, it does stick, even though there's no history of that.
Right.
That would be a violation, how my constitutional rights got violated.
Right. So yeah, simple stuff like that, you guys. Like just lay it out quick, easy.
And it doesn't matter if it's 1 or 20 things.
Right.
you're still, if you're part of the suit and we bring it up, you know, you're going to have, you can't sit there and duck it. You can't sit there. Well, I don't want to be known. No, your name's got to come up. You got
And
to be
it
willing to put your name on that
20
paper.
things is fine. We just don't need we don't need deep, long details of those 20 things. We
Right.
just need the bullet points of how those 20 things have been violated.
Mhm.
That's it. And yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So step 3, to participate in the qui tam / lawsuit, please provide us with your case number. We will review your case to determine if it can be included in the qui tam lawsuit.
Yeah,
So,
and that's a big thing. Whether what state is it? You know, is it an Arizona state? What is the initial thing that started off? Because you know, maybe you had great outcome on the first hearing and you got 50-50 custody, but then after that, you know, this happened. We want to see the original case number,
yeah.
and we want to see the case number where you started getting screwed over,
Yeah.
so that we can tie those two things and get it together.
Right.
Because sometimes some of these, you know, let's be honest, some of these cats are turds.
Right,
you
right.
know,
And we can't let turds in.
Right. And so they, you know, and even the simple thing is going to denigrate our claims. So, you know,
Yeah.
let's say they're trying to go for 50-50 custody, but at the time they said, well, I lost 50-50 custody. Well, what happened? Oh, we just went into court.
Yeah.
But they're failing to tell you, like, hey, I got popped because I had, you know, 10 kilos of cocaine in my house when I was watching my kid on parental time.
Basically, you guys, you got to be comfortable with getting vetted.
Mhm.
Like, and so, I mean, it's that simple. Okay. So step 4, be prepared to provide an affidavit of fact.
Yeah. And this is a key one. This is, if anything, this is the most important one out of those 4 steps. And there's only 4 steps. It's that simple.
Yeah.
That affidavit of fact, somebody's like, oh, well, you know, well, I got this declaration. Okay. You know, no, a declaration is not the same. I mean, it's the same in the sense that it might be, you know, what you're explaining. Yeah.
Right.
It might or may not be true, but that somebody's saying, oh, well, but you're still held to perjury of that. Yeah, to an extent, but not really.
Affidavit
of fact is it's more binding.
More binding.
Yeah, it's binding you more to stating this.
Yeah.
To saying this happened. This is not disputable. These are the facts and evidence for it.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's just like saying, you know, like, again, I can sit there and say, well, water's wet.
Yeah.
Well, that doesn't mean everything that's wet is water, right?
Water is wet and the sky is blue.
Gravy's wet. You know, even blood's wet.
Yeah.
So, but that's the thing. It has to be a fact.
Right.
Like the sky is blue, grass is green.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Well, it's not green if I can paint it. No.
It's still green.
And it's an original form.
It's green.
It's green.
Yeah.
So but an affidavit of fact, you have to have, you write down what you're doing, and those are facts.
Right.
You can't just throw out there and throw out insinuations. And then the second part of that affidavit of fact is that once you get that, don't sign it. You have to take it to a notary.
Okay.
And then that notary looks it over, reads it, and then they say, is this what you attest to?
Right.
You know, under penalty of perjury and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Yes, it is. Okay. Then you sign it because they witness you, and then they sign it off. Excuse me. Saying that they witnessed what you were signing when you were doing this fact. And then it goes. And then the cool thing about this then is that the burden of dispelling that and the burden of proof is therefore put on the court and that woman.
Okay.
So they have to sit there and say, that's not right because of this. Yeah. Well, here's the evidence for that statement.
Yeah. Affidavit of fact, baby. Yeah.
So it's a lot legally. So it's legally stronger.
You guys, like it's pretty basic. I mean, that's really it. So it's 4 simple steps laid out. Do not provide your entire case or story. Mm-hmm. We only need you to submit evidence that demonstrates how your constitutional rights and those of your child or children have been violated. Participate in the qui tam lawsuit. Provide us with your case number. We will review your case, determine if you can be included, and be prepared to provide an affidavit. And again, So basically, all we need to do is we need you guys to lay these out in simple bullet points. That's it. But
Absolutely. Yeah, it's that simple. You know
yeah,
what I mean? We care about the feelings, but we don't feelings aren't what's gonna get us this thing. It's the facts. It's
yeah,
the facts of the case.
yeah,
I haven't seen my kid for 10 months. Okay, boom. We need to put that down.
yep, yep,
Why haven't you had to see your kids for 10 months?
yeah,
You know?
yeah, yeah, yeah,
So that's the problem. And you got to be, and then you can't sit there. Once we put it in, we get this the amount that we've agreed upon, you know,
yeah.
after talking to everybody in there. If it's 10, great. If it's 100, even better,
Uh-huh.
you know. But the fact of the
Much
matter
better.
is that yeah, that we put, you know, 5, that's great too, but we're gonna get all of these things that have happened individually to each 5 of those fathers, or 10 fathers, or 15 or 20
Right. Right.
fathers. That way we can do it. And then it's going to be a hell of a lot harder for the government to sit there and repetitively too.
Right.
If this happened to me, it's going to happen to you. You had a protection order on you, so you had your Second Amendment rights taken away. Same thing with me. So
Right.
if it's repeatedly happened, then it shows, you know, a systemic failure that's
Right.
happening at Spokane Superior Court, or
We still got
you know,
protection orders on
yeah,
this.
right. So it doesn't matter. So then that's what the government takes into, you know, the federal government takes into account too.
Yeah.
So you do that, and you have this, and eventually it's going to pique somebody's interest. Some attorney's going to come along and say, "Whoa,
Yeah. Yeah.
you know, these guys are put together well.
Yeah.
Let's do this." And then at that point in time, then what he's going to have to do is, again, you're going to have to sit that down there with one attorney or their team of attorneys,
Yeah.
and they're going to talk to each one of the people that are on that case.
Yeah.
So you have to be willing to do that. It's kind of basically, it's like, do you remember that movie Aaron Brockovich?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I mean,
So-
I haven't seen it in a long time, but I remember.
Yeah.
For sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
So she was the paralegal or slash paralegal that was going around trying to get all these signatures from these people, and then get them to have her boss, that one attorney, take on their case for him, and then he had
Yeah.
to come in and do this stuff. Well, that's the same thing with us.
So that's what
They
we're
could-
doing.
Yeah,
Essentially.
if there
Yeah.
not an attorney that's, you know, doesn't have balls to take on this case, well, that's, you know,
You know
I
what?
am, and so
Yeah.
so the other fathers, let's do this stuff, and we go, but we got to be prepared to do it. You know, case comes up.
Well, I think we're gonna naturally attract those attorneys anyways, just by we'll keep doing what we're doing right now,
I
and
think
as
so,
this
yeah.
continues to build. Because I mean, there's there's always attorneys that actually like to stand up for justice and really pursue what is right. Those attorneys exist.
There's that, you know, whether it's 1 or 2 out of 10,
Yeah.
there's things like that. Then you're gonna have like probably at least half of them
Right.
that are worried about their image. They're like,
Right.
oh, this can make me, you know, now I'm such a,
That's
you know,
okay, though.
yeah, that's okay. If, you know, if that's what's going to pump
We
up
ain't
your
got
image,
time for them, bro.
Yeah.
We don't have time for them.
if, you know, if that's what's going to pump up your image and you're going to take this stuff on, then that's on you.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
obviously.
We
But-
need them.
But yeah, but that's the thing, is you go in there and you just do a, you know, a straight thing.
Yeah.
If that attorney does, then that's the issue that we need to deal with
Right.
as plaintiffs. We need to sit there and all come to a term and say, okay, we're going to pay this attorney after the $30 million that we sue for,
Yeah.
let's say 250,000.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We'll initially do it for 250,000 contingent upon winning the case.
Okay.
You know,
Let,
if we win, we'll give them a little bit more. If we don't, then, you know, you don't get shit. But
Right.
I think with a quitan that we have and all the fathers that we have, we'll win.
Oh yeah. And like I said, I think we're gonna attract the attorneys, and it's coming sooner than later. So wherever you attorneys are out there, we haven't met yet, but we look forward to meeting you.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, we're not all a bunch of idiots.
So let's rewind real quick, because I want to go back to like the number with people being involved. So whether it's 5, 10, 15, 20, essentially we can, because right now we're focused on growing this in Washington.
Mhm.
That's what we're doing. But essentially we can grow this nationwide, correct?
Well, yeah, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's just Washington families. When you're in that federal court, it can be from anywhere.
Yeah.
California, you know, BFE,
Yeah.
you know, wherever the case may be. If you know, let's say we only get 10 for this initial thing because they're like, is this some kind of gimmick? No, it's not a gimmick. You know what I mean? It's legit. We're gonna do this thing.
And we can grow that 10, correct?
No, once
No.
you start
No.
it, that's
Okay.
it.
That's it. Okay.
That's
Okay.
it.
That's it.
So you
Okay.
have 10 people in there, those are
Yeah.
the 10. Anybody else that wins off of that,
Okay.
it's theirs. If they choose to do a Quitam case and have us join in on their stuff to say, okay, well, we have another one,
Okay.
then that's
Okay. So that's how you would combine and grow it if you combined with another case already existing.
yeah, if it
Yeah.
already existed or something
Okay.
like that.
Gotcha.
But that's why you have case presidents. I mean, you're either in on it or you're not.
Yeah.
So if that, those 10 people do it and they win, they win.
Okay.
And then they're done. You can't grow it. You can't do anything like that. They just use your case for their case on something else.
Gotcha.
And if they
Gotcha.
get 1,000 people after these other people, but that's the way it is, right?
Right.
Bandwagon jumpers.
Yeah.
Every year it's just like the NFL. How many damn Patriots fans did you see after they won their first?
I mean, all over.
Then all of a sudden, everybody was New England Patriot fans.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So that's what.
Not to get off subject, but I'm always the opposite guy. If something gets too popular, I'm like, I don't know if I like that anymore. Anyways, so you guys, with this, let's say you want to participate. All you got to do is send your information, reach out to us at fathersgospelpodcast@gmail.com. So right there on the screen, we'll have a link in the description box. And this is what we're doing.
Yeah, and then when we get it, and we have these people that go together and are ready to rock and roll, then I'll submit it.
Yeah.
And as soon as we submit it,
yeah,
that's it. That's locked in.
Okay.
Is there ways to add people on there? Yeah, but it matters what stage of the judicial process you're at. So there's a point of no return. You know what I mean? You can't bow out and you can't get in.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you're gonna go, it's like
you got to
go into the toilet, shit or get off the pot.
Yeah. Try to shit so I can get off the pot.
So you can't back out.
All right. Well, I mean, man, anything else we want to get into with the Quitam? I feel like we got it covered.
Yeah, I think we got it covered. It's just a matter of stepping up.
Yeah. Dads, step up. Join us.
That's it.
I mean, I'll tell you what, this might sound kind of crazy. Yeah, fighting with the courts and doing all that. It's stressful, but it's kind of fun at the same time if you just get crazy enough to do it. Mm-hmm. So
because then I mean, all of the stuff is that we have all our proof and all our facts and evidence, and we can, at certain points in time, we can dispute what they come back with, but then right now, initially we're on the offensive.
Yeah.
Then the state has to come up with this and say, no, well, we didn't do that because of this, and this. Well, immediately then we get this stuff and we do it. Right. And that'll be a cool thing because, right now would be the critical time because then you can bring that thing on and you have to do the attorney general.
Right.
So, go over there and serve the attorney general on that because he's the one that's ultimately going to get sued, the state of Washington. Okay. He's responsible for all these these courts and everything like that.
Okay. Do you know who our attorney general is off the top of your head?
What's his name? He's he was Ferguson's little crony for a while there, but now
I mean, I didn't want to assume, but as soon as you said Ferguson, I'm like, oh, it's probably not good. So,
yeah. They're I mean, it's just people that were there. It's nobody new. It's not like
right. Yeah. So that's it, you guys. I mean, let's make it happen. Dads, moms, especially dads, where you at? Join us. We got a little army over here. Help us grow that army. And now's time. We got Doge going after Title 4D and child support. They already struck a blow against the American Bar Association, already started taking away their funding. Like, it is prime time, gentlemen. It is prime time to step up and let's get it done so our kids, especially our little boys, they don't got to deal with this. Oh, yeah.
The Bar Association?
Yeah, the ABA. About a month ago, they started because they were getting a bunch of funding from USAID. Yeah. And
probably do something with transgender,
oh yeah, because
LGBTQ plus premium or whatever.
well, I don't know if you remember, but we did an episode or two and we went on their website.
Mm-hmm.
And if you like just you don't even have to scroll down that far on the American Bar Association website, instantly talking about DEI and all that stuff. And then same with if you go on like the Washington State Bar Association website, same thing, bro. It's all
Yeah.
right there. The DEI crap, like
Yeah.
everything.
Well,
So
that's good to know because lawyers are the ones that are putting these people up because they're stupid. You
right.
know, they don't read the contract. They just get the keywords. Do you like women's rights? Oh, guess what? If you have this and then they sneak all this other word in there.
Kyle, this is random, bro. I don't know. You just said what you said. And I'm glad it reminded me. Okay. I don't think I told you yet. Van Winkle, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So I got our first bit of data on Van Winkle in the family courts. Did I tell you already?
No.
No. Okay. Okay. This is so cool. All right. So my brother Donald, he's in the class I'm going to, that I'm
Mhm.
always talking about. Anyways, he texted me, we talked today, right?
Okay.
He had Van Winkle in family court just recently, right?
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
So here's
Okay.
the first feedback. You ready?
Yeah.
You ready? Okay. So Van Winkle wrote down, he ended up basically scolding the wife, saying that she is manipulating the children to hate the father.
Good.
Yes, bro.
We need 12 more Andrew Van
Yeah.
Winkles,
Well,
please.
I got some ideas about that, but we're not going to get we're not going to get into that on here. That's
Yeah.
kind of more some like top secret,
Yeah.
but yeah.
That's a good start. That's what I'm saying. That's a good start. But you know what? When we interviewed that gentleman, we were telling him Constitution, your oath of office says that you're supposed to support and defend and
Right.
uphold the Constitution. And he sat here and told us, yes, they're deviating from this, and I don't understand why. And this guy is smart, man.
Yeah, he's
a
super
good man.
smart, bro.
Yeah, family man.
Yeah.
Didn't understand a lot of this stuff, and it was good because he learned a little bit of things that we were going through, and he's like, I did not know that was
Right.
happening. And then he did his own damn research.
Tell them about some of the things he learned and he was open to.
Yeah,
like
he well, for one of them, biggest one was that we brought up the fact that 81.7% of full custodies go to, nationwide to the mother for no good reason.
And he admitted he didn't know that.
He said, I don't know that. But what impressed me about that gentleman is like, I did not know that. And we gave him all those other numbers.
We gave him data.
And we gave him data. And he came back on our show and said, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for showing me this. I did not know that this was there. You know what? And that's a smart person.
Yes.
A wise person will listen to others, do their own research, and come to their own conclusions.
Yeah.
And not be part of the sheep.
Bro, high five.
Anybody else could sit there and he might be a black sheep, but guess what? The black sheep that stands up against that, those are the judges that I want to defend. Is he going to make mistakes? Obviously, you know what I mean?
You know what though? We're gonna get more Van Winkle in there.
I thought Casey was gonna be in there.
Yeah.
That's awesome news.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's things that need to happen, just like I said, that these judges are public servants.
Right.
They answer to us. We don't answer to them. You know what I mean? Other than the fact that we come in here, this is what we present, and this is what their side presents. And then that judge is supposed to be judging over what we present.
Right.
Not falsehoods and any of it. It's facts and evidence and the truth.
Yeah.
And then boom, they make that decision.
Yeah.
So, and he's doing that. So if he's scolding that female, the same thing. If it was a father who was doing that, he's scolded just like
he will.
Right.
And Van Winkle will. I have no doubt.
It's just like
he's a data fact-driven guy. Like he wants to know the truth.
He's a constitutional judge.
Yes.
He knows.
Yes. Yeah.
He believes in this stuff like Chief Justice Gorsuch at one point in time said.
Yeah.
All these ALJs are garbage.
And their days are
You
coming.
know,
So,
yeah,
yeah,
he's
yeah,
like this, the reason why people are threatening and being violent in
yeah,
courts is because these judges are not following constitutional law.
yeah.
You know what I mean? They say, oh, well, I'm here in this state and I'm going to follow state law. No, dude, you have to bounce that off of constitutional law. And if it fits constitutional law and that standard, then it's right. If it doesn't,
Then yeah,
then it's
it's
unconstitutional.
out. It's garbage. Get
Yeah.
rid of it. Yeah.
So you know what? That's awesome news. You know,
Yes, yes.
I'm glad that he's in there. I'm glad that he's putting his money where his mouth is. He
Yes,
came
he
out here and he
is.
said, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this. One man, one woman, one person can change a lot of things.
Yeah, yeah.
And so if he's doing that, man, give it up to him.
Dude, yeah, like I'm
Yeah.
so excited.
On a side note, his wife is awesome. She's really nice. She's really,
Dude, they're
man, she's got,
top-notch people.
yeah, that right there is a traditional family. I could tell.
Yes,
Like
yeah,
he's the man, she's the woman, she supports him, you know,
yeah.
and he's not, you know, I guarantee you behind closed doors, he's not going home. Hey, cook me my
No,
dinner.
they're just a
You know,
good, loving
yeah,
couple,
yeah,
like
yeah.
who love and respect each
Yeah,
other.
yeah.
Like,
So
yeah,
I mean, he's an awesome dude, man.
yeah.
Seriously,
A little victory, bro.
yeah,
Yeah. And
man,
it's cool
that's
because
good.
I told one of our brothers today,
Mhm.
like, and as soon as he got on the phone, he just sounded like down. And then as soon as I told him that, he just like
Picked up.
picked
Yeah,
up, bro.
yeah, it's
Like,
good. I
yeah.
mean, it's just like this. I mean, he is policing his own
Yep.
judges, but
Yes.
indirectly and directly by
Right.
making those decisions like that and standing up for what what is right.
Right.
You know,
Right.
it's not just because he's a man, it's like what is right. It's just
Yeah.
like us as fathers,
Yeah.
and we know a couple fathers, even in our own group there at SPOFI, that are well, I don't really want, my career's more important than my child, but I want my child.
Yeah.
It's like, dude, you don't get to your cake and eat it too.
Just rock the freaking
You know,
boat.
your
Just rock the boat.
Yeah, your priority should be first and foremost your child. Then everything else comes after that. Even if you're married, your priority is the child, not that marriage, not that woman, that child.
Right.
Because you want to create that. People don't want to hear that, and people don't have to like it, but that's what it is.
Dude, these family courts, we have to throw them overboard, just like the tea at the harbor, whatever. You know what
Yeah,
I'm talking-
Boston Tea Party.
Yeah, Boston Tea Party, exactly. But it's already happening right now. I mean, well, like I've been saying, like I always say last couple episodes, and when you and I talk, like they know they may not accept it yet, like the
Mhm.
family courts and all these people, but it's in the back of their mind now. They know things are changing.
Yeah.
And like, so yeah. But you guys, I got excited. Kyle got excited. This is good news. We got a little off track, but that's what we got. So these are our instructions for the qui tam, the lawsuit. Join us. The momentum's on our side. Help us kick some family court butt. The time is now.
Absolutely.
We are Doge. That's dads of government efficiency. Anyways, make sure you like, share, subscribe, comment, hit that notification bell. Until next episode, love y'all. God loves y'all.
Thank you. Peace and God bless.
Yes.